Welcome in. Tim Benson here. We're going to do this again. We had a false start, had a power issue. So, hey, that's how it works these days. Thank you for joining in our Coffee and Cash Flow pregame live stream. I'm going to invite a very special guest, our lead administrator, senior admin Lauren Terrio for NetScore. Lauren, how are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. We're doing this again. So this
Yeah,
is fun, right?
it's fun.
Yep,
Do
yep.
it.
So tomorrow we have a big live stream coming up. It is the NetScore Coffee and Cash Flow Bitcoin episode. And a lot of people ask me, Tim, why Bitcoin? Like, really? So here's my thesis on that. I'm going to talk a lot about this tomorrow. I was thinking about this week, why I feel like this whole crypto thing, I think, is really taken off and why it's impacted me specifically. I'm 43. I lived through the internet in its infancy. I remember when I was a kid when AOL was like a thing, and that was like mind blowing because you got to understand, I'm an 80s kid, and that sort of technology just didn't exist back then. And fast forward to 2000 when you had like Amazon and Google was starting to come up, and it's just like that type of buzz. I haven't felt like that since until Bitcoin came. And I feel like there's the same type of buzz and community. And it's not just the technology, it's a lot of the people that are involved. So I don't know what it is, but it's something inside of me stirred and said, this is going to be something. I don't know what exactly it is. And I don't know if anybody could tell you definitively this is going to be the outcome. But if you take a look at what's going on in the world, it just seems like this technology is very needed at the right time. Have you noticed anything like that?
I'm all new at this, so you're going to have to teach me.
Yeah, sure. And that's what it's about, guys. And that's what I'm going to talk about tomorrow is what is Bitcoin? What does it do? Why is it important? The big question is, Tim, am I too late? And I've got some good news. You want to know the good news, Lauren?
We are not too late.
You're not.
What?
You're not too late. And it's not just Bitcoin. There's hundreds of other digital currencies out there. So I'm going to talk a lot about that. I was also talking to one of my friends because they were asking, hey, Tim, what is this Coffee and Cash Flow podcast? Like, what is like the premise of the show? And I wanted to present a platform that enabled people to get their skills developed to offer services and things and products to people, basically to help enhance their lives with multiple streams of income. You can probably relate to it. Who works a 40-hour job anymore, Lauren? Or who's happy at it?
Nobody.
And I'm encountering that more and more. And thanks for everybody joining in. Please feel free to like, comment, and share. We're doing a pregame live stream for our Coffee and Cash Flow Bitcoin podcast tomorrow, where I am going to extensively go through a lot of Bitcoin analysis, where we are, where are we going in this technology. But going back to what Coffee and Cash Flow is about, I've always have felt I wanted a voice and a platform that helped people develop their skills. Mm-hmm. And we don't live in a single income society anymore.
Absolutely not.
And you've seen it with your family,
yes.
Right?
Yes.
It's just getting harder. And guys, I'm here to tell you, and I think this all ties in together. I'm here to tell you, this whole money printing inflation thing is not going away.
Nope.
Have you noticed prices getting higher at the restaurant, grocery store?
And the gas pump. Oh my gosh.
Right.
Yes.
It's not by accident, guys.
Nope. We
are living through a very historical time right now. And now's the time to really invest in your own self and your own education. Our company, NetScore, we work with hundreds of small businesses all over the United States, Canada, and England now. And we help those self-doers get themselves visible online, on social media, on Google, because that's really where things are. And the analogy that I like to use is, do you guys remember the Yellow Pages? And many of you don't, because you're too young, and that should tell you everything right there. Nobody really uses a book anymore. They just use their smartphone or smart device if they need something. So that really tells us where we are in the whole global scheme of things. Let's see if we have any. We're actually using this live stream as a test today too for our big show tomorrow. Let's see, Lauren. I am going to see. Do we have any comments? Do you see any comments anywhere yet?
I don't see any on this side. I can check Facebook though.
Yeah, let's check Facebook real quick. And thanks for everybody joining in. And I'm going to have a little nifty banner here. So in case you guys don't know, my name is Tim Benson. I'm the founder of NetScore. Joined with me is Lauren Terrio, senior admin of NetScore. Lauren pretty much keeps me straight most of the time, because as she can probably tell you, my mind goes in about 1 billion different places pretty much at all times, right?
All times. Yes, all times.
Tomorrow, we're going to be joined by our senior lead developer, Kayla Diaz DRC. And, Evan is going to join us as well, too. And they both have extensive web experience. They're both involved with several startups here in the United States. I'm sure Kayla's going to talk a little bit about that. Mm-hmm. She does some work with Shopify as well. So you get to hear some insider news about Shopify. By the way, what's the big news from Shopify lately? Isn't there like a Spotify partnership? Spotify?
Something like that, yeah.
So I believe there's a way that you can monetize your music on Shopify, which is very interesting. Let's see here. Okay, Jessica said she was going to join us. She had a tour. Yeah, we're just checking the stream. Everything looks fine. It looks like on YouTube, on Facebook. Guys, join us on Facebook, facebook.com/NetScorePro. We are on YouTube. I probably can put the link to our NetScore Pro. It's also on our website, I believe, the YouTube link. So let me go ahead and do that. In 1 second. I think I can put it in a chat here, or maybe I can't. I'm not so smart. Private chat. Okay, I think that's only for, yeah. So
for us,
if you go to Facebook, you will see our Coffee and Cashflow event, and there's a YouTube link. You can check out our YouTube page there. Here's the thing: we need 100 subscribers on YouTube to get an official NetScore name. Otherwise, it's a bunch of characters, like random characters. So, thanks, YouTube. Thanks, YouTube. Thank you. Yeah, it looks like we're live. So awesome. I'm going to do a quick run through of some Bitcoin stuff, and we'll just kind of wrap it up. I just wanted to take today to kind of introduce what we're doing, introduce ourselves. Let's take a quick look. I'm going to test. This is a good test for us. Okay. So can you see our Bitcoin chart here?
I can.
Bitcoin chart. So what we are looking at is the Bitcoin monthly chart going all the way back to our previous top of Bitcoin. Here's the premise, and I'm going to talk about this tomorrow. Bitcoin's only been around since 2009, 2010. And throughout its history, there's been a series of large peaks and valleys, right? And it happens roughly every 4 years. For those that are familiar with crypto, this is nothing new. For those that are new to crypto, just understand that this is like a programmed thing in the Bitcoin algorithm. Every X amount of new Bitcoin that gets mined, after a certain period of time, that number gets halved. So there is a programmed scarcity of this asset. There's only going to be 21 million ever of Bitcoin mined ever. So you have to understand I want you to think about something. If you have a adoption curve skyrocketing and a supply decreasing, what do you think that's going to do to the value of this over time? That's what you have to ask yourself. And there's been a lot of pundits over the last few years, even central banks have come out and said, oh, this thing is like a Ponzi scheme and, this thing's going to fail. There's actually a few websites that track how many times Bitcoin has died, and it's like in the thousands. And so at this point, I think it's pretty easy to say that I don't think it's going anywhere. I don't think it's going to die. I think we're here, right? Yesterday was really interesting. We hit an all-time high of right under $67,000, which was pretty amazing. Got a little bit of a pullback today. We're looking at the monthly chart. I'm going to go to the daily chart. And this is how many moves happen throughout a 24-hour period. Now, one question people ask me is, Tim, so how does what does the time frame mean with Bitcoin? Like, it's not like a bank where we're closed at 5 p.m. and like you can't do anything with Bitcoin. Which is true. Like, Bitcoin's 24/7. I could wake up at 2:30 a.m., send somebody Bitcoin or buy or sell, and it's no problem. Whereas like you can't do that at a bank, right? However, when people are tracking price moves, it's still widely accepted to use the standard daily, hourly time frame, weekly time frames, because it just makes it easier for traders and other markets to like make sense of this whole thing, right? So when we say like, what did it do for the day? It just means like in this period of open and close, I think it's like 7 p.m. is when it closes, and then it starts a new cycle for the next day. And when you see these green, red candles, that tells you if the price moved up or down. So, Lauren, does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
You're going to see a bunch of these squiggly lines. I'll talk a little bit about that, but really tomorrow. I don't want to get too technical on these shows because I think that has a tendency to like get a little bit too jargon heavy. Long story short, we hit an all-time high. It broke through. It's going to come back and like test it for a little while, and then it should shoot back up, which is normally what happens. Here's a question I get. Tim, how high is this thing going to go? What would you guess, Lauren? How high is this thing going to go?
Hoping over 100.
Yeah, so there's a lot of people calling for 150, 180.
Yeah.
I personally think it's going to be in that zone before you get this hyper emotional, what we call FOMO, fear of missing out, like people just buying relentlessly,
Right.
Just to get on the train, right? And I think that's when a lot of the smarter money is going to start pulling out. That's typically what happens in these markets. But some of the other assets, like if we look at Ethereum also hit, I think it hit close to an all-time high, or it was like 4,300. All-time high is about 4,400 earlier in the year. And in Ethereum, I think the same thing is going to happen. So I've seen calls for $10,000 Ethereum. It's at 4,100 right now. So we've got quite a bit of ways to go, I believe. So that sort of answers the question of, hey, Tim, am I early in? Am I too late on this stuff? No, you're not. You're not. This thing is going to be, I think the 2020s, we are going to see the shift to this stuff. Well, that's my thought,
Hope so.
So, yeah. The other thing is, I feel like look, I'm not a financial advisor, so don't take any of this financial advice. This stuff can go really high. It can also go really low if you're not careful. So just manage your risk, right? But I do think that if you understand and study this market, I mean, it's just the upside is substantial. You just have to study it a little bit and make sure you don't overdo yourself. So yeah, so that's going to be a preview of what we're going to talk about tomorrow. I'm going to take off this screen here. So again, thanks for joining our preview stream. Again, tomorrow we're going to be live at 1:30 p.m. Eastern, 12:30 p.m. Central. We'll have a few guests on. Lauren, how do you like this setup, the live stream setup? Is this a little bit better?
Much better. I can hear you better, see you better. It's all good.
And last time we were having problems with, here's a little banner there. We were having problems with latency. It doesn't seem like that's a problem anymore. So
Not at all. No.
looks like we kind of got that figured out.
Yep.
Okay, guys. Well, we look forward to seeing everybody. I'm going to do some pretty in-depth analysis on Bitcoin. I've got quite a few friends that are going to join in. And look, this podcast is going to be a recurring thing. People ask me, Tim, how can I like I work a 9 to 5. How can I like get ahead? And the first thing you want to do is figure out, hey, what can I do pretty good? What can I do for others? And you got to find a way to monetize that and put value in yourself, right?
Yeah.
So with that being said, guys, we're going to see you tomorrow. And I hope you join us, and feel free to give us your thoughts and comments. And with that being said, we are going to head out.